Hello fellow humans and welcome to the Madhouse. I'm Josh and this is my summer book haul. I'm very sorry for the mess behind me. I'm packing to go back to university and there's a lot of stuff. That is far from all of it. I just needed some space free on my desk so I could work. And yes, there was a teddy bear right there. This is Fred Ted, a bear I was given on the day I was born by my great-grandfather, named Fred Ted after him. And, well, let's just say he's been very, very loved over the years. He's quite battered. But he's too fragile to bring along, and besides, I'm nearly 21. I'm probably a bit too old for teddies. As for the main part of this video then, the books. As you might guess, because I have a problem, there are a lot of them. I didn't buy all of them, so that's fine. I just treated myself to a couple. Mostly because there were some authors that I really liked, whose books I have to read immediately. Released books, and so they had to go on my shelves and there was no other way of doing it. And then I also did something a little bit different. I bought an adult colouring book. Now you may say, I've got too many of those, I've hauled them before and they really don't count. But this one is a little bit different. This is a very adult colouring book, in that it's full of swear words and lots of phrases which are a little bit different. See, the very first one, fuck, or that one, fuckwit. There are 40 different phrases on the back of it, ranging from bullshit to fuck nugget to, ooh, I don't like that one, beaver dam to shit a brick, wanker, bollocks, twat waffle. Twat waffle is one of my favourites at the moment, although my favourite swear word will now and forever always be fuckety. It's a lot of fun and excellent for relieving stress. And I also actually, if you want to get into the analysis of it, rather like the dichotomy of the rather mindful use of adult colouring to try and bring peace and harmony in yourself, with the almost violent and aggressive words of fuck, shit, and things like that. The two don't go together, yet they meld marvellously. There is This Savage Song by V.E. Schwab, the author of A Darker Shade of Magic and Vicious, two books I absolutely loved, especially Vicious, which was just so incredibly dark and gothic and such a wonderful look at, well, the superhero genre in a way that hasn't really been done before, taking elements of the X-Men, especially with, well, never mind, I've done a review of it before and you don't need to hear that, but this one is supposed to be even darker, and I'm getting a little bit of a Romeo and Juliet theme from it, but with even more death in it, and monsters, and just, I need to read this. My brother's currently reading it at the moment, and if he finishes it before Sunday, then that's fine, but if he doesn't, I'm taking it anywhere and stuff him. There was Kindred Spirits by Rainbow Rowell, which was one of the National Book Tokens books, but because I'm an adult I don't get a book token anymore unless I buy them. But I went several months afterwards, so the book was 20p instead of £1, so I had to buy one. And because I'd been meaning to do it for a long time, I also decided to cave in and buy Carry On. I've heard only good things about this book, and there's no real reason why I shouldn't read it, I just haven't. But it's time to give it a try. Who knows, if I like Rainbow Rowell I may buy even more. Another World Book Day book is Spot the Difference by Juno Dawson, and if that name rings a bell to you, that's because Juno Dawson was formerly known as James Dawson, the author of This Book is Gay, though more recent editions of the book do also say Juno Dawson. It's a very short young adult book about how far one should change, and if you should change at all, to be more comfortable with yourself and to be accepted by other people, and whether or not that is a good thing. I mentioned this one in my Back to University TBR, and I'm going to mention it again, A Slice of the Moon by Sandy Toksvig, because it's just so very pretty, and I also really like Sandy Toksvig as a person, so I thought I might give her writing style a go. She always comes across as pretty clever, so it could be exciting. I went down to Rugby at the start of June for my aunt's 50th birthday and spotted this in a charity shop. It is the Gormenghast trilogy by Mervyn Peake, which, as far as I can tell, is an old-fashioned gothic horror story, and it's just deliciously dark. I have a thing for dark. It kind of started with Neil Gaiman really, but it's just a lot of fun. One of the prettier books I picked up this summer was The Greek Myths 2, which is obviously the second in a Greek Myths collection. I don't have the first or the third or any of it, but this was just there also in rugby, and I knew I had to pick it up because I love Greek myths, and any cover that's that intricately done in the Hellenic art style one would find on urns and pottery and amphoras and all of that is going to be interesting. And seeing as that is of Leda and the Swan, where Zeus turned into a swan and raped Leda, I can already tell that they're not going to... what's in that phrase again? Hold anything back and change it to be more acceptable to modern audiences. Lots of cool stuff. There's even maps of the area involved. And to be honest, with ancient Greek myths and journeys, that is necessary. Because trying to find where Crete and Athens is and hold it all in your mind is terrible for someone like me. I cannot do geography to save my life. I bought an ebook of an historical fiction novel called The Towers of Tuscany, which is set in the 13th century and involves cross-dressing female artists and political intrigues, loveless marriages, and a whole bunch of stuff that I just find fascinating. I love the idea of Renaissance Italy and, well, just Italy around medieval times as well, because it was so drastically different from anything I've experienced now and any of my knowledge of history of, well, British history. There was On the Other Side by Carrie Hope Fletcher, which is one of the sweetest, loveliest books I have read in a very long time. Now, I may be slightly biased because I think Carrie Hope Fletcher is also one of the sweetest, loveliest people on the internet, but the book was actually excellent. Don't think of it as a contemporary romance or anything like that. Think of it as a contemporary fairy tale, because that would explain a lot more of the elements of magical realism, like being able to write love letters on the wings of birds, and this being completely normal and acceptable. There's lots of things to that, and it's lovely, and I may have a little bit of a crush on Vincent Winters now, so thank you very much for that, Carrie. For a very brief summary of what it's about, a woman, Evie Snow, has just died and she wakes up in the afterlife, but she can't get into her personal heaven until she unburdens her soul of 3 secrets. And this book is all about the unburdening of her soul, and it is actually lovely. There is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child Parts 1 and 2. I gave a review of this, so if you want to know what it's about, go and watch that. But suffice to say that it was an interesting and fun read, but not worthy of the title of the 8th Harry Potter book. The audiobook of Omari and the People by Stephen Whitfield, which I am enjoying greatly so far. It is a desert fantasy as far as I can tell. It certainly seems to have fantastical elements hinted at, but I'm not far enough in it to know if it's actually magical in nature. But there is a thief, Omari, who sets his house on fire to escape from his life and accidentally burns down the entire city as well. So out of guilt he feels he has to lead people across the desert to this better place. And he's made this up, but there's an old lady who actually knows of a better place, and apparently they go. And it's set to be very exciting. I'm expecting to encounter djinn or spirits of the desert and things like that. And it could be exciting. I absolutely love desert fantasy, and this could be one of the better examples I found. Oh, and I also completely forgot, there's also the audiobook of The Lies of Loch Lamora, Flint, which appears to be a somewhat atypical fantasy novel involving thievery and ancient cities left by dead species and things like that. So I'm already intrigued. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please click like, share and subscribe if you did. And as always, leave me comments telling me what you think about any of these books down below. If you've read them, let me know. If you haven't but you'd like to, let me know about that, because discussion is always good. But I'm afraid I do have to go now because I have some chicken in the oven that's going to start burning if I don't go very soon. So hopefully I shall see you in the near future. Tuesday if everything goes well. It may be a tour of my new house. We'll find out. We'll see how it goes, really. I don't plan ahead that well. Until next time then, tatty byes!